Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For the Lord shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time.
Isaiah 60 and 21 and 22, the points in 22. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. So this is talking about when we're set up in the kingdom, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. That's talking about the men of Israel. We're going to have so many children. One man is going to have 1,000 children. And then another man is going to have so many children. It's going to be like a strong nation. And it's just going to be his children. And each man, we're going to multiply like that. We're going to have children upon children. But like I said, the Lord is going to restore us. He's going to restore us in the kingdom. We're going to get that ancient world stature and strength. We're going to get all that back. Now I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah. We'll go to Isaiah 40. I'm going to come back to Isaiah 60 because that's talking about the kingdom. And it tells you right there, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. That's talking about in the kingdom. And how is that going to happen? That's going to happen through sex. It's not going to be by snapping of the fingers. It's going to happen through sex. Now I'm going to read this in Isaiah 40 and 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting power, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I'll read it again. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The Lord is going to renew us like we were in the ancient world. I'm going to show you examples of how we were in the ancient world when we were in our strength. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, meaning we're going to be able to fly. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. The Lord is going to renew our strength. Now I'm going to get another scripture. Let's go to the book of Psalms 103. Psalms 103 and 5. It says, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles? You see that? Who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles? Didn't we read that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength? They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. In other words, in the kingdom, like I was saying before, when we went into 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, about the celestial and the terrestrial, in the kingdom, we're going to be what you call extraterrestrial. In other words, let me give you another name for it: Superman.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing, salutations to the whole flag out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole flag, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, and what I want to get into tonight, all right, rather, is dealing with a topic, we hear brothers, go into dealing with how pretty much, through the woman, all right, that Esau Edom, was able to pretty much destroy, okay, the family structure amongst the tribes, especially, the southern kingdoms, especially here in the States, okay? And what we're going to go into is the purpose, behind, child support. It's a pretty good video. Like, it's like 40 minutes. We're going to watch, a good bit of it. I'll leave the link in the description box if you want to watch all of it. But it pretty much break down, the intent of child support, okay, and what it did, okay, to the structure amongst our people as far as family. All right. And one thing that, I'm learning, within, within the ministry, within the truth, is that the importance of the family dynamic, you know, the importance of family structure within the nation, all right, and how pretty much that's the foundation of any nation is that family structure, okay? And we know, the curses, due to the curses, it spoke about, our family structure, having an evil eye, towards one another, okay? It spoke about, the man leaving the house, okay? And all these things, okay, we seen really come into the play from the 1960s on up. You see, from the 1960s until now, there has been major psyops on our people to get us to where we're at now. If a brother can, post that in Jeremiah 2:21, okay? And the precepts that brother got, I'm gonna get ready to load up. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah. Well, the reason why we're at the point to where we're at now, when you guys say when you go from the 60s going up into this time, there was a lot of major psyops. Okay, the feminist movement, the crack era, the gangster rap. Okay, now what you have, the alphabet played, the alphabet community is played, witchcraft, just now there's no boundaries amongst our people. It started with, feminist movement to now where we at today, where our people are pretty much in the spirit of Satanists. Okay, but it started with the destruction of the family. Okay, and once you remove the man, all right, once the man was removed from the equation, all right, Esau was able to manipulate the women until what we see today. All right, when he put women head of families, all right, amongst our people, this is what you have today. Okay, a satanic, all right, alphabet, plague people, man. Okay, extremely emotional, extremely violent. All right, and we're gonna go into these things now. Let's let's get this here first, and we all was born into a backwards ass society, man. As men, we didn't know what men was. We thought masculinity, was the, the thug, gangster rap. Okay, street nigga. We thought that was the peak of masculinity. Okay, the woman, thought being an independent, bad bitch. They thought that was the pinnacle of being, womanhood. Being strong and independent. And we was all led astray. So we go into these things to point out the facts, man. Not to just, point fingers and say this and that, but it is what it is, man. Okay. We're gonna get these things now. Let's get this first. This from the brother Kazak Bun Yahawada. Okay, and this is Isaiah 3:12. It says, "As for my people, all right, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." Okay, and this was set up systematically for women to rule over. Okay, the the families of the tribes, especially the Southern Kingdom, so-called black. Okay, it was a system put in place for that to happen. All right, it says, "Oh my people, they that which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths." And this is what we see now. Our people are constantly going further and further into wickedness, man. To the point where majority of our people are Satanists. They hate the Bible. They hate order. They're full of pride, okay, because of the way that this system, okay, has diminished male authority amongst our people and exalted, all right, female leadership amongst our people, man. Okay, and you see a nation that's waxing worse and worse. Okay, now let's go here. This is another from the brother Kazak Banya Howard. It's Jeremiah 31:22. Says, "How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." Okay, and these things came about, like I say, really, because going back to the 30s, okay, Black Wall Street, the 20s, 1920s. Jake had order, Jake had structure within the household. The man, all right, was their leader within the household. Okay, and what did you see? Prosperity, at least economically, man. Okay, violence wasn't rampant. Okay, baby daddy culture wasn't okay. Didn't exist like that. Okay, baby mama culture, child support. Those things wasn't there in the 20s and 30s, and Jake was thriving. Black Wall Street was just one of many, all right, Jake communities that had their own economic school system, printing presses, okay, clothing stores, restaurants. You see hotels, movie theaters. All right. But at the end of the day, it wasn't, we wasn't here to prosper, but it just shows you the contrast between when you had family structure, okay, back then after slavery, and the family structure that, all right, we lack now, and the results of it, man. Okay. So let's get this one. Because when a woman compares to man, see a woman, all right, the man will handle, all right, the outside business affairs. Okay, the men will have the final say so within their household. The men, would rear up the son, to have a trade. The men would decide, and the woman will aid in particular things, because the man and the woman, especially, a husband and wife that been together, you have a seasoned wife, that's another thing. Like, if a woman was seasoned, been with a man for so many years, she would aid, in decision making, like finding a husband for the daughter. The woman would, have a say so with that, because if you, just like any job, if you work at a certain job for so many years, you pretty much, they look for you, they look to you for counsel. Okay, so if a woman been in the household for so many years and under the man's vibration, she will have she will have a say in particular things, but ultimately the man will have the final decision. And that's another thing they painted, male authority as the color purple, and the Ike Turner. See, all those movies pretty much played, all right, against Israelite male authority as if the worst thing in the earth. Okay. it was a deception of the devil, man. Okay, but now the woman can compass the man, which means what? She doesn't need a man to sign off on her decision making. Okay, and that's what you see, like, within the truth. With the, like I say, with the Israelite man, the biggest stumbling block for Israelite man is to have discipline. Not getting lined up. Because you see, they, even with Jake in Israel, they can't stop getting lined up. They know they're Israelites. And the discipline, and laboring and sacrificing, particular, lust and pleasures of this world. Okay, that's a stumbling block for Jake. All right, that's a major stumbling block for Jake within the ministry. But the woman, her major stumbling block is to relinquish that power that she had, because pretty much Esau made the woman, all right, the so-called black woman, especially, a sovereign, okay, within her little situation. Okay, she doesn't have to answer to a man. She can just make whatever decision she wants to make. And we see where that has led for the masses, man. Okay, so a woman has compassed a man, which she has went around a man's authority. Okay, and who set that system up? Esau, Edom. All right, now let's read this one, and then we'll I'm gonna cue up the video. You know, we'll get the other you brothers other precepts as well. You know, so we'll get this one and go ahead and cue it up. As I'll leave the link in the description box. You know, pretty good video. You know, I know some of you brothers familiar with this channel.
Do you know why I'd rather become an online closer and make $1,000 to $4,000 a day selling for other companies?
Sometimes.
Did you know that there's a simple combination of natural ingredients that will help you poop out pounds of old rotten waste in your colon within just a matter of days?
All right. So this is their channel, Industry Hopes. We'll get it. Let me read this. This is the brother Bayan Yashala, Jeremiah 2:21 said, "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" And it was through this society, okay, and through the enchantments of Esau, Edom, that our people have become more degenerate than ever. Okay, like I say, from the 60s until now, okay, there's been nothing but psyop after psyop, enchantment after enchantment that pretty much has turned our people completely out, man. All right, to the point where they're jumping up and down to go vote for a pedo Satanist, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Let me go ahead and cue the video up, and like I say, I'm gonna put the link. Let me go ahead and copy the link. Well, I'll put it up at the end too, you know, for brothers and sisters that came in late. Okay, but let me go ahead and let me go ahead and paste the link to the video. I say it's pretty, you know, I'm gonna try to interject it less as possible and let it, you know, ride. Because like I say, it's pretty lengthy, you know, but you know how we do, you know. Hey, we're gonna watch these documentaries together, you know. We're gonna watch it together, fam. You see? And like I say, interject and you know, how the spirit moved. But it's pretty good, you know, a lot of good information, you know, a lot of things brother's been saying over the years. You know, he pretty much goes into, you know, the technicals and the, you know, the legalities and all these different things, you know, just to prove, you know, what brother's been saying in the spirit, you know. So I'm gonna let it play, you know, we'll go from there.
This picture contains scenes which under no circumstances should be viewed by anyone who is easily upset.
Hi, thanks for joining the Tricky Lake Show. Today's topic is no good dads and their baby's mama.
No, you women are smooth too, Picky. I got a girl now, got me paying child support. We ain't got no kids.
So, you know, it took me to have 5 kids to have a good relationship, a good, you know, one that's not so traumatizing for the child. And then also being a visiting dad is whack. Buying and providing physical things, a kid doesn't even care about that. That's not currency to a kid. They don't even know about money until you tell them about it. All they care about is your time. And that's the most valuable thing is, you know, the love that you can give your child. You know, the kid just wants you to be there to support it.
The United States Child Support Program has served 13.2 million children in the recent year, with the goal of collecting money from parents, including those who don't live with their children. Since the program's inception, it has been closely intertwined with America's views on public assistance and race, and its implementation shaped what they call the deadbeat dad idea.
Game. You're not ready for it.
The era produced in 1986. Titled The Vanishing Family: Crisis in Black America. We will get to that later. But one of the most common talking points is black fathers being forced from their homes and children by black mothers in exchange for welfare benefits in the 1960s. While the man in the house rule did exist, the talking point is not entirely accurate. In the early 1900s, state legislatures began to pass bills that supported single mothers called mother's pension. Since the states operated these programs, administrators were not regulated by the federal government. The lack of governing the mother's pension program meant that states could deny services and money to qualifying black mothers. While black Americans were more deeply impoverished, the aid was given almost solely to white women. One requirement that never changed when a mother received public benefits was the way that she maintained the home for her children. Although it's pretty taxing to locate what a suitable home meant for recipients of mother's pension benefits, it is evident what black women had to do to comply with the suitable home requirement. But the list did include mothers not having a man in the home. Yes, the main requirement in both the mother's pension was that the father not reside in the home with the mother and children. Even when mothers were approved for benefits, few states granted aid to never married mothers, or those with savings or equity in a property. The government based applicant approval on whether the children were illegitimate or not. This not only disqualified white mothers, but the requirements were added to the disqualifiers reserved for black mothers. Black mothers were financially disadvantaged based on many reasons before becoming a widow. Employment opportunities were scarce outside of housekeeping or farming, and when welfare became involved, working became a problem. Besides the need to provide a suitable home for their children, black mothers had to comply with other rules that were degrading and a violation of their rights. A rule excluded two-parent families from receiving benefits if the state considered them both able-bodied. Unfortunately, the fathers were absent from the home, not because they had died, but because they had to leave to provide for their families. Black men often left their families searching for work because of employment discrimination and depressed wages for black workers. When racially charged stereotypes of the black father being kicked out of their homes so that their mother can receive welfare, these realities are omitted. When the mother miraculously received welfare benefits, the caseworkers had total control over their lives and homes. This also applies today as well.
Evict me out! Evict me out! Take me to court! You're in my room! You're in my room! You're in my room! Get the f*** out!
It is important to emphasize that the rule states the word another when referring to the man in the house rule. The men that the regulation referred to were not the children's actual fathers, but the men were later referred to as substitute fathers. Similar to welfare today, the alleged objective years ago was to decrease the number of people on welfare. Of course, when white mothers received the benefits, there was no problem, but when black women were finally granted permission to receive it, specific rules applied. Even though the man in the house rule was reserved for substitute fathers, it did not mean that overseers of the system did not force husbands and fathers to leave their homes. As of now, the child support system covers about a quarter of American
So as you can see, the man in the house rule pretty much, started mainly when, the women, okay, or the tribes started receiving, the benefits, what they call women pension. Okay, it started off as women's pensions. Okay, and when the women of the tribe started receiving it, the man in the house rule really was supposed to be, because see, when your husband died in the war or your husband died, all right, and that's why you had laws amongst our people about the widow and the fatherless. Okay, because pretty much the priesthood was supposed to take care of the widowhood and the fatherless. All right, because the priesthood would be over the treasury. So the priesthood back in the ancient world would have to take over the widows and the fatherless. Their husband probably died in the war or died from, whatever reason. Okay, he wasn't there. All right. And back then, okay, it was a rare thing for a man, like even this stepfather thing like this, that wasn't common, amongst our people. Your husband died, a lot of times you would be a widow, until you died. Okay. Like there wasn't, a common thing, because you had inheritance, and our forefathers was about legacies, about names, it was about lineage. So that just mixing of families just wasn't a major thing, as we see it today. Okay. But the priesthood was supposed to take care, all right, of the family through the treasury, the widows and the fatherless through the treasury. And a lot of times you hear the Lord, you hear in the scriptures about the widows and the fatherless. The Lord will be addressing, all right, the leadership of our people, that wasn't doing, all right by the treasury, and not taking care of the widows and the fatherless. Jake was heaping the money to themselves, man. Okay, but you had an account where I want to get in. Let me see. I want to say it's in the book of Maccabees, because you got Ananias, all right, which he was a righteous priest, and you can tell. Let me see. I think the second Maccabees, the third chapter. Let me see. I ain't read in a while. Hold on. So I want to try to find this in Maccabees real quick, just to show you, how the priest, would take care. All right, the priest, the high priest that was over the treasury, was would take care of the fatherless and the widow. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I started at 1 and read down. Now it says, now in the city, now this is second Maccabees chapter 3, verse 1. Okay, because we had a welfare system. Even, if you was a man that had a lot of fields, a lot of substance. All right, when you would harvest, you would leave, some of the harvest, the fruits and vegetables. Okay, you would leave some, so the passive buyer, they that were less fortunate will be able to come after you have took in your harvest. You will leave some left over, so they will have some to eat. Okay, and then with the fatherless and the widows, the high priest that was over the treasury, was supposed to distribute, pretty much, have something for them, so they will be able, to live off of. Okay, pretty much something like a pension. Okay, it says, now when the holy city was inhabited with all peace, and the laws were kept very well, because of the godliness of Ananias the high priest, and his hatred of wickedness. it came to pass that even the kings themselves did honor the place and magnify the temple, all right, magnify the temple with their best gifts, in so much that Seleucus, king of Asia, all right, of his own revenues, bear all the costs belonging to the service of the sacrifice. So Ananias, all right, which the scriptures say, when a man ways please the Lord, he make even his enemies be at peace with him. So we see when Ananias, all right, he was a pleasing high priest unto the Most High. He hated wickedness, and so much that even the Edomite, all right, which is the Seleucid Empire, one of the generals, all right, after the death of Alexander, that reigned, all right, which is the Seleucid Empire, them and Ptolemy will go back and forth, over the control of Judea, through those wars. But even all right, Edomites was given, Ananias gifts out of their own revenue, okay, out of their personal expense, okay. It says, but one Simon of the tribe of Benjamin, who was made governor of the temple, fell out with the high priest about disorder in the city. And when he could not overcome Ananias, he gave him to Apollonius, the son of Thrasus, okay, the son of Thrasus, who then was governor of Seleucia and Phoenice. So you had the wicked Jake, fall out, all right, because he's seeing the revenue that's coming in to the priesthood, and Jake want to be wicked with it, man. Okay, so him and Ananias fall out. So he pretty much go tell, okay, these Edomite governor, all right, Apollonius, that what's all in the treasury, okay, and he wanted, pretty much to those Greeks, all right, those Edomites to go rob the treasury so he can be in favor with these Edomites, to overthrow Ananias. All right, now I'm gonna read down. And it says, and told him that the treasury in Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money, so that the multitude of their riches, which did not pertain to the account of sacrifices, were innumerable, and that it was impossible to bring all into the king's hand. Now, when Apollonius came to the king and had showed him the money whereof he was told, the king chose out Helidorus, his treasurer, and sent him with a commandment to bring him the foresaid money. So forth with Helidorus. So you have, Seleucid sending his treasurer, to go get, because like I say, this wicked nigga, all right, what's the nigga name? Simon, okay, this wicked nigga, all right, fell out, with Ananias, and now, he's just telling them like Ananias just over here balling. Like he got extra money saved up, the money y'all been giving him plus the gifts, So it says, and when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city, he told him what intelligence was given of the money. All right. So the treasurer come, because they was cool one night. So they were like, well, look, the king sent me, said y'all had like extra money, left over, from the king's gifts. Okay, after the sacrifice. All right. So he's coming to inquire about it. And it says, and he told him what intelligence had been given of the money, and declared wherefore he came, and asked if these things were so indeed. Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children. Okay. That money, the high priest that was over the treasury, he would lay up some money for the fatherless and the widows, because if you was a like I say, if you was a woman, all right, you had children and you lost your husband, a lot of times you wouldn't be remarried. Okay, I say this, even this stepfather culture, like there wasn't a thing. Okay, men wanted their own lineages. Okay, they didn't mix like families, so it had to be something laid to the side when that husband would die. Okay, you had some, they would remarry, but a lot of times they would be widows. Okay, so what you had here, as we watch this, all right, that pension was really supposed to be for widows and fatherless relief, but then it transitioned into what? Child support. We're going to see it. Okay. because they used that no man in the house law because you couldn't have a stepfather. Really was to prevent a stepfather to, if a stepfather came in and he was providing for the house and then they will receive aid on top of that, it was to prevent that. Okay, but then it came to the point like, nah, you can't even have their father in the house. Okay, if you want these benefits. All right, it's gonna go into it. Okay. And I hope that makes sense. If anybody got any questions, but I just wanted to sum that up, But if it, I pray that made sense. So we'll go back to the documentary.
Children and can provide a crucial safety net for some women. But it is obvious the current laws need significant restructuring. You see, the system was established decades ago and is based on outdated stereotypes that viewed mom as a housewife and dad as the sole breadwinner. 1975, child support enforcement responsibilities included certifying cases for referrals to the federal courts to enforce support obligations. The state maintains a full record of collections and disbursements made under the plan. Keep that in mind. 1992, the Child Support Recovery Act imposed a federal criminal penalty for the willful failure to pay a past due child support obligation with respect to a child who resides in another state that has remained unpaid for longer than a year or is greater than $5,000. For the first conviction, the penalty is a fine of up to $5,000, imprisonment for not more than 6 months, or both.
The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family. It offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away, in that sense undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the two parents the children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children. We take away, in many of the most vulnerable homes, fathers from those homes. The worst of it is that the homes that are most vulnerable are the homes that are least supported by the policies of local, state, and federal governments. And no wonder then, out of these more vulnerable neighborhoods, we get an endless cycle of troubled, delinquent, wayward youth who grow up even more and become the lawbreakers of our society.
1994 made parents who failed to pay child support ineligible for small business loans. 1996 Welfare Reform Bill.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I pledged to end welfare as we know it.
Remember that all presidents are planted, and Bill Clinton was sent in to infiltrate the black community. They made him relatable to the ghettos across the world. And while we were focused on Bill Clinton receiving a fake blowjob, getting high, and playing the saxophone, of course, they introduced the 1994 crime bill. And although Bill Clinton did not personally design it, he was certainly placed to win the acceptance of the black community, while they worked against us behind the scenes. Bill Clinton's policies contributed to maintaining and increasing mass incarceration. They planted Bill Clinton, and they planted artists to help encourage people to follow this one-way trip to prison. We could say the steep rise in the black imprisonment rate occurred during the Reagan and Bush years, and the drug war, which was at its peak in the late 1980s and early 1990s before Clinton took office. But remember, the rap group NWA was also planted. All of those planted mainstream artists of the 80s and 90s was pushing a promiscuous lifestyle. Then under Clinton's administration, they strengthened child support enforcement. You ignored it because, well, Clinton said he smoked weed.
I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. And didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
Because I'm a big Bill Clinton fan.
and niggas are still voting, okay, Democrat today. All right. We're seeing the enchantments of the devil, man. Okay. Here it is, the women's pension, all right, went from the the state giving money to widows to transitioning to Jake, all right, fathers, okay, paying out their pocket, okay, and then they incorporated what? They make it a crime. You see, and then if you were on child support, you really couldn't get a loan for a small business. See, this man did a lot of wickedness systematically, all right, to destroy, okay, Israelite fatherhood. All right. Now, are there deadbeat dads out there? Of course, there's some trash niggas. Okay. But even them niggas were mimicking what Esau was putting on TV. Okay. Them niggas was mimicking what was glorified on TV. Okay. And those niggas that were glorified, those were the women. I mean, those are the men that the women was choosing. Okay. So let's play some more, man.
I love he's the real first black president. I love Bill.
Yeah, I have a problem with people saying that because Clinton was the real first black president because he played the sax.
1996, welfare reform bill was devoted to major reforms of the child support enforcement program. If a custodial parent needs assistance from the government, they must cooperate with child support. If you disobey, Clinton agreed they have the right to the suspension of driver's license, professional, occupational, and recreational licenses. Denial of their passports, amount to be reported to credit bureaus. Required liens on real and personal property, not dischargeable during bankruptcy. The agency has procedures for notifying a new employer of an absent parent. While we were worried about Bill Clinton and weed smoking, they were reinventing ways to split families and fill jails. Johns Hopkins University sociologist Catherine Eden explained that the traditional roles of mothers and fathers have changed dramatically since the 1970s, but the laws are still stuck in the past. We have a 1970s narrative about today's reality. In 1986, CBS produced a report titled The Vanishing Family, which featured a New Jersey father of 6 who bragged on camera about not supporting his children financially.
I'm thinking about holding up no sex, my man. You know, if a girl, she get having a baby, carrying a baby, that's on her. I'm not gonna stop my pleasures because of another woman.
Timothy said his children are not his responsibility. He has left them to be supported by their mothers and welfare.
The report sparked outrage across the country and even led to stricter child support laws. Not long after the piece ran, Congress passed a law forcing states to adopt stricter enforcement practices. As we just mentioned, that trend continued well into the 90s when President Bill Clinton's Welfare Reform Act gave the government even greater power to enforce child support collection against non-custodial parents. But as usual, I believe all of that was planned. For one, let's look at the name. This guy was allegedly boasting that he doesn't take care of his kids, and he has no problem spreading his seeds. What was the name they gave him? Timothy McSeed.
Because I'm highly sexed. Like most women say, you're a baby me. I just got strong sperm inside.
And see, they made that, all right? They'll make a nigga like this to be the face of every Jake in America, man. Okay, and like I say, this would be the same nigga that Eve would choose over and over again. Okay, if a brother can post it in what's that in Psalms? I want to say 62. Yeah, Psalm 62 and 4. All right, Psalm 62 and 4. All right. Yeah, man. There's a lot of wickedness that went into splitting up families, man. And just like Eve in the garden, Eve, she went for it again. Okay, this shit came through Eve. You know what I say? This ain't a personal attack on women. This just facts, man. This is what it is. Okay, this shit entered into the nation through Eve, accepting this shit with the serpent, man. Okay, the same thing. You see that pack? All right. This is if a brother can post that within Timothy, all right, the woman being deceived. Okay. This is it's the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh, the Proverbs 4:16 said, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. And this is what these devils do, man. Plot, scheme, and plan, all right, ways to keep Jake in a fallen state, to keep the nation of Israel in a fallen state. And see that Esau knows the dynamic of a father in the house, man. Okay, we're going to get into that, once we get through with this, man. All right. This is the brother Bayon Yasha'Allah. Psalm 62:4 said they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. And who's the him? All right. Jacob. What did the serpent do? He cast Adam down from his excellency. Okay. The sons of God. That's Esau's whole thing, is to cast down the sons of God from their excellency, man. Okay. And through this system of feminism, women's equality and child support and this whole deadbeat dad narrative, and making Jake degenerate, with the street culture, it was all an attack to divide and destroy family. Okay, destroy the family structure. Okay, because niggas have more money than they ever have. Niggas have more, our people have more, opportunity than they ever had, but their mind is gone. Okay, they're ruined. Okay, and the mindset is gone. And that's what the serpent wanted. You see? All right, let's get this. All right. And it says, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Yeah, so it seemed like they was doing the woman a benefit. Like they really cared about the serpent. Didn't care about Eve. Esau don't care about, all right, the women of the tribes, man. He don't give a damn. All right, the woman was gassed up, all right, to be a tool to be weaponized against her own nation. Okay, they bless with their mouths. Strong black woman, independent queen. They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they're laughing at you become a weapon to the nation. The least, these Edomite devils are laughing at the women of the tribes become a weapon to their own nation. Okay. This is the brother Bayon Yasha'Allah, Timothy 2:13, and it says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. Okay, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Okay, now we get a demonstration of what this is speaking of. Okay, because the BS came in the game through Eve. Going back to the garden, she brought that to the lineage of the sons of God, that BS from the serpent. All right. Now, as Adam, okay, he went with it, and sons fell, and he said, we're being punished worse than anyone today. The sons of God. Okay, but you look at the culture. When you look at everything that's plaguing us as a people, Esau brought that shit through Eve, because these single parent homes produce these niggas that terrorize themselves today. Okay, the gangs, all right, the baby daddy culture, baby mama culture, all that came from no male authority, no male structure in the communities, okay, because of what? Government assistance, feminism, the woman, in love, pretty much married to a career. Because you pretty much got two types of women, amongst the tribes. You got a woman that's getting benefits, from the government, and she has, multiple niggas on the side that's helping with this and that, or you got, the woman that has these certain careers that they're married to, where they're able to finance, a household, and they super independent, strong, headstrong women. Those are the two single mothers that Esau Edom produced from this era, man. Okay? And society of men of our tribes that we see today came from this madness, man. The alphabet community, Lil Nas X, Lil Uzi Vert, all these. You think you think we could dress like that? I can't imagine coming to my house dressed, come to my granddaddy's house dressed like some of these niggas, man. Spiked up hair and shirt open. Man, come on, man. Okay, we would have been picking up teeth. But when Esau removed that, the woman is so easy manipulated, but then Esau gassed the woman up like she got it. Okay. Meanwhile, he manipulating the hell out of her ass. She don't know. She really thinks she got it and independent and strong and holding it down. It was all an attack on the lineage of the sons of God, man. Even going back to the serpent until the day, man. It's the same narrative. All right. And now we see it. Okay. Like I say, and we was all born into this corruption. And that's why, the Wadi Habashim al Shah for bringing us all, men and women, out of darkness into this marvelous light, man. We just stating the facts of what it is, man. Timothy McSeed. Oh boy. So let's go back to it and let some more of it play.
I also think he's having trouble memorizing his script.
How many children do you have?
6.
Okay, that's the second baby. The third was
Mustafa. He was the third.
that was by another lady.
Mm-hmm.
How old is he now?
He's 5, if I'm not mistaken. 504,
And then the fourth one was.
Timothy McSeed allegedly died on July 28, 2007. Allegedly, knowing what we know now, it is fitting for his burial place to be Clinton Cemetery. Also interesting is the alleged mother of his children, Alice Cassandra Jackson, who also appeared in the television documentary. However, after the documentary aired, she allegedly fell down and died. How convenient.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
During the program, Ms. Jackson said she disliked welfare because it makes me lazy.
I don't like welfare because it makes me lazy.
It does?
Yeah, it makes you lazy just to sit around and wait for a monthly check to come in. I just like to work. I like money coming every week or every 2 weeks.
It is interesting that the one that disliked welfare was the one they removed after it aired. I'm willing to bet it's a fake death, but no time to dwell on it. Just look at the subliminal message they're sending. She was said to have been mourned Wednesday at a service attended by hundreds of people, including Jesse Jackson and CBS commentator Bill Moyers. Red flag. They claim Jesse Jackson isn't related to her, but I would not doubt that he is. She was used to simply play this little part to help push the agenda. Breaking up families and taking control. Especially black families. They create these heart-wrenching stories from people they pay to say things, and this helps the public stand behind their agenda. It's one big mind trick. And women fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. In fact, in the documentary, I argue that Alice Jackson is reading a script. Look at her eyes as she's speaking.
Alone is so with. But every time I do that, when he's not with me, even that same day or the next day, I feel, lonely without him. Feel like, I just get angry and say them things. I don't really be meaning them.
Do you love him?
She looked up at the same location with her eyes going back and forth. I bet it's a teleprompter above her. The deadbeat dad. Fatherlessness is a public health crisis that affects every facet of American life. Antiquated child support laws and collection enforcement are at the root of this issue. A large percentage of families in the system live below the federal poverty line. Many fathers sincerely want to do right by their children, but simply don't have the means to do so. It becomes a very slippery slope for a lot of dads. As unpaid child support payments accumulate, this often snowballs into another issue. Research has shown that men with outstanding child support debts tend to be less involved in their children's lives. Some even find themselves incarcerated over unpaid payments, and your child now reminds the father of jail, debt, and a bill, all things people want to avoid. So the state turns your child into a burden, and since many states treat incarceration as voluntary unemployment, child support debts continue accumulating while men are locked away in jail, working for the state for about $1 a day, while the jail collects thousands for his stay, giving the mother none of it. It's easy to see why this is such a difficult cycle to break. It's easy to see why some men start to stay away or do less. The core of the problem with modern child support laws is that there is too much emphasis on enforcement and not enough focus on getting fathers involved in their children's lives. After all, it is supposed to be in the best interest of the child, not the government. The state is prejudiced against dads and is one of the main causes of deadbeat dads. Child support is meant to be used for the benefit of the child. However, mothers will alert DSS if that father is missing support payments for her own benefit. However, the men are branded as deadbeat dads. They are viewed as heartless men who have simply walked away from their family responsibilities.
I'm pregnant.
Already? Are you sure?
I got 7 kids. I think I know what I'm talking about.
Ashiki, I'm not ready to be no father right now.
Oh, so you man enough to come up in me, but you ain't man enough to take care of what comes out, get my nails done, get my hair done, pay my rent, and give me a new car? You know what?
Some people in certain areas burdened by unrealistic court-imposed support payments, continuing legal fees, increased taxes due to changes imposed by Bill C-41, and estrangement from their children. Some men find themselves caught in a downward spiral of depression and have resorted to the ultimate escape: suicide, or simply the mother of the child or the entire family. I will not refer to celebrity cases because a lot of celebrity news is fake.
And having Mr. Kennedy running all around all night looking for a when I didn't need it.
As we stated many times before, if a murder trial is broadcast all over TV, it is fake, it's not real. This rape script was no different. Instead, let's look at it in the most realistic way possible.
Andre, I can tell you the crime scene here at the Pinewood Hill condos is large. Take a look, and so is the response. The top brass of the police department is here, as well as the state's attorney. Several family members have arrived.
Beautiful mom, beautiful daughter, beautiful, beautiful daughter.
And now the young mother and her toddler are gone, shot and killed outside her uncle's house in the 1300 block of Palmer Road. Just before 7 a.m., neighbors called in the report of the woman in her late 20s in the parking lot, her daughter suffering in a nearby car, later pronounced at the hospital.
Boswell Johnson and Davis had an ongoing disagreement over child support payments, police said. Court records indicate that Boswell Johnson was ordered in November to pay $600 in monthly child support.
I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
Also, the courts do not care if the money you have left over was not enough to support your current household and other kids. You are now expected to support 2 households. Add to this the cost of expensive litigation, and the fact that one party may be trying to use money as a means of obtaining concessions, such as access or custody, and we have a recipe for disaster.
Oh my God, no!
Studies find that when a child is raised without the active involvement of a father, they are more likely to suffer a diminished sense of physical and emotional security, behavioral and social problems, high crime, as 85% of youth in prison have an absent father. Fatherless children are more likely to have sex before the age of 16. More likely to use and abuse alcohol and other drugs. Also, 90% of runaway kids have an absent father. And as adults, fatherless children are more likely to experience unemployment. Apparently, the mother and child support system doesn't care about this. The system. The child welfare system operates surprisingly like its criminal counterpart. It is a $30 billion apparatus that monitors, controls, and punishes families in the same black communities systematically subjugated by police and prisons. It is more accurate to call it a family policing system. Many believe the child welfare system protects children from abuse or going without. But in reality, it's the opposite. I believe this system was always designed to punish black families. Child support puts families under intense state surveillance and regulation. Black children are disproportionately likely to be torn and end up being raised in an unstable or single-parent household in poverty-stricken areas. This leaves many kids open to being influenced a lot easier while the father is being pulled away. This leads to the government or entertainment raising your kids, the rappers becoming the role models, which ultimately leads to juvenile detention and imprisonment, your daughters following the Cardi B's, and being promiscuous. I believe this is a form of mental abuse on the child. As one commenter said, child support was never designed to be about the child. That is the lie the court and its band of greedy thieves in the support collections unit tell non-custodial parents who most often happen to be fathers. Child support is a money-making scam used by the state which is financially motivated to enforce child support. Every dollar of child support collected by the state gets in federal grant money on a one-to-one basis. Most of this money goes to fill the welfare coffers of the state that likes to pander to single mothers and their children. Welfare recipients are most often single mothers. If you don't believe all this, it's all spelled out in the Social Security Act Title IV, Part D, Section 458, Incentive Payments to States. This scam employs many people.
I can attest firsthand that there is not a single article of the United States Constitution that is not routinely violated in family court. The family court commissioner was my judge, jury, and executioner. So why are family courts throughout this state and this country separating children from perfectly loving, fit, and capable fathers without due process? What's driving all of it? Our government has financially incentivized the kidnapping and trafficking of children for profit through Title IV-D of the Social Security Act, otherwise known as child support. Shocked and stupefied are not strong enough terms to describe my state of mind when I found out that the entire judiciary in California, including this council, are under contract with the executive branch agencies to help assist with enforcing Title IV-D in exchange for federal incentive funds. In what way, shape, or form could any of you sit here with a straight face and maintain that the judiciary is independent or impartial when you've crawled into bed with the executive branch in exchange for money? This is nothing short of state-sponsored abduction and trafficking of our children for profit. Worst of all, this corruption is committed under the guise that it's all done in the best interest of our children. Well, I got a news flash for everyone in this room today. So when the family courts tell us that you're taking our children away from fathers and driving those fathers into poverty through the racketeering and extortion activities of Title IV-D, that it's all done in our child's best interest, excuse me when I say I don't know what the hell any of you are talking about.
We will see more of this later.
I'll put the rest of it. It's pretty interesting. You know, he go into some more things, you know, but the point was made with the video. Now, what I want to emphasize on before I close out, you know, I left I left the link, you know, if you want to finish, it's about another 22 minutes left. All right. I want to get a few precepts off the comment board, you know, that brothers, you know, have posted. And I want to go into some things, you know, as well. So you see, okay, the intentional, you know, the vision and destruction, okay, of the Israelite family, you know, with the, you know, systematic, you know, pretty much oppression of the Israelite man. Now, I want to say this, okay, because at the end of the day, you know, it gets to the point to where, you know, Jake can't play the victim anymore because we see what the play is, like we see what the game is like. And that's why, you know, with me, you know, personally, I knew I didn't want to be anyone's, you know, baby father. You know, I know I didn't want, I seen the control, because like you coming up with your homeboys and y'all together every day. And once they start having children and you see it's like they're free, but they're in prison to the emotions of a woman, you know, and then they have a whole court system behind them. And I knew, like, I never wanted that, you know. But one thing that Esau Edom did was he took away the concept of family. You see, and that's a thing that we're getting back, you know, as we learn about our forefathers and our ancestors and how they moved, all right, according to family. Okay, we're understanding family. Even you see our grandparents, and you know, if you was able to see your great grandparents, it was a structure that was all rooted in family. And what Esau did was he took away the concept of family. Okay, but he still, but you have men and women still having sex. Okay, the concept of family went out the window, but you just had what? Random sex. Okay, sexual, what do you call sexual irresponsibility? Okay, a lot of men, due to sexual irresponsibility, put themselves in horrible position with these women. Okay, that's a major part of it. So the man ain't just, you know, this victim. After a while, you know, the first wave of men is like down. You know, the first wave or two of men, you know, they kind of caught off guard, and you know, all these things was happening. But then they get to a point to where, as a man, you know how the system works, and you still going to be sexually irresponsible. Then now these are your consequences, man. Okay. You know, and brother, you know, certain brothers have situations, you know what that's like. We through. We all need to get delivered, man. Okay. But the thing is, we got to recognize these things, all right? Because why? It puts us in the right mindset. Because now, because even with, you know, the whole thing with Isaiah 4:1, the reason why women go so crazy, and you know, brothers kind of, you know, because when we first heard it, we was immature in the faith, and you know, in the spirit, you know, and you think about our mind goes to what? The sexual aspect of it. Okay, a lot of sex, you know, like, but now Isaiah 4:1 is going to be family. That's going to be family oriented. Okay. We getting with brothers are going to have women added to them for the sake of family. Okay, we're getting that family structure back. The scripture should have us men in the mindset of being heads of families. Okay, heads of houses. Okay, Esau took away the responsibility, the concept of family, which was a responsibility. Okay, that came with sex. You see, but he took that concept away and introduced the benefits, or like I say, he would have to be a slave to, you know, one of these careers to make finances. Okay, but everyone was still able to enjoy just random sex. Okay, And this is what do you see? Chaos. Okay. So let's go here. Cause what did Esau do first, man? He removed, the man from the equation. All right, let's get Mark 3 and 17. Let's 3 and 27. Let me see. Yep, this is Mark 3 and 27 said, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and he will spoil his house. And when Esau was able to systematically, remove the man, through incentivizing, the woman being single, okay, then he was able to manipulate the nation into what we see today. People that's gone, degenerate niggas, okay, wild beasts, women, masculine as wild women, okay, and these generation is getting worse and worse, more satanic, and Esau has pretty much been able to have his way with the nation. All right, that's why the Lord is pulling the remnant out of there. That's why we should constantly separate more and more, man. Okay, because this is these are Israelites that are getting worse and worse, man. All right, and begin with Esau removing that male authority, okay, from the community, man. All right, so let's go from there, because that father-son relationship is a heavy dynamic, man. Okay, but Esau, like I say, Esau replaced the father with just finances. So now, like I said, you have the government taking care. Because see, as long as you can see, it's a first world country. So the convenience of a first world country is, okay, you don't need a man because it's a grid that supports you. Okay, it's a grid built by men and maintained by men that supports single mothers. Okay, so it set it up to where the woman can say, I don't need no man, which is she's saying she doesn't need an individual man, but she's still having children, so she's dealing with men, okay, and she's still being provided for, all right, by a grid built by men. But Esau pushed this concept as he gassed Eve up to. Eve was thinking, okay, I'm doing this by myself, but she was destroying the nation. Okay? Poor decision making. All right, terrible decision making, destroying the nation. Okay? You know what I'm saying? These sorry niggas that exist today, they majority of them come from single mothers, man. Okay? So let's go here, because Yahweh Shai, all right, the Heavenly Father had a relationship with Yahweh Shai. Okay? When you go to Proverbs 8 and 22, it says, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water. So this is Yahweh Shai being brought forth, and it was just him and the Heavenly Father. This is an actual father and son relationship. Okay? That's extremely important. You see, this is just on a much, this is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So this is the on the most extreme level of father and son relationship. Okay, it said before the mountains were settled, before the hills was, I was brought forth, while as yet he had not made the earth. Salakia, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. Okay? The Heavenly Father is pouring into Yahushua. Just like the Father that was made to pour into the Son. This is the greatest example of that. The Heavenly Father is pouring into Yahushua. Okay? Yahushua said I was there. Okay? There's nothing like a man that has these unlimited stories about him and his father, the things that his father taught him, the experiences that he went through with his father, the stories that his fathers told him. You see a man that's really influenced by his father. He has this substance and this depth about him because a man was constantly pouring into him. And then you also have the reinforcement, like your uncles, I said your grandfathers, your fathers, big brothers. Okay, all that played a factor. It wasn't no light thing, but because Esau was able to finance, all right, the welfare, okay, and then also just set, the career Eve up in these high-paying jobs. The money was there, so it seemed like wasn't nothing missing. That's why right now the man is only reduced to what? The only way you're considered a high value man in this society is by how much you make a year. That's your value. That's what this whole system has reduced the Israelite man to, is a yearly salary. Okay? Eve wants to plug in a yearly salary. Okay? It ain't about, his father's skills. It ain't about, is he a good leader of a house? Those things don't matter. It's all about a yearly salary. That's the value of an Israelite man in this society, man. Okay? It says, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. Okay? The Heavenly Father raised Yahushua. Okay? That's why Yahushua was able to say what? And we're going to get into it, man. Yeah, man. We're going to get into it, man. If you offended, that's on you, man. It is what it is. It's just the truth coming out, man. Okay? I'm saying we was all born into corruption, but goddamn, now this is St. John 14:7. It says, if ye had known me, you should have known my Father also. From henceforth you know him and have seen him. Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. Yahushua said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known Philip? He that have seen me have seen the Father, and how sayest then, show us the Father? Okay? So Yahushua, like, look, I was raised by my father. I'm likened unto him. Okay, I'm an extension of my father. Okay, now Christians will use that to say that the Messiah and God is one. No, okay, he's an extension of his father. He was raised. His father poured into him. Okay, it says verse 10: believest thou not that I am in the Father and the Father in me? Okay. You see that? It says, the words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Okay? Because he was taught everything of the Father. All right? It was always a father's duty to teach his son a craft. Okay? The Heavenly Father taught Yahushua, was teaching Yahushua how to create and how to run existence. It's just on a whole nother magnified level when you deal with the Heavenly Father and His Son, His only begotten Yahushua, the firstborn. Okay? And we're going through that training, brothers. You see? Of how to rule, of how to be balanced. You see, this is what we're becoming. We're being taught of the Father, just like as the brother has put up. Let's see if I can find it. And the brother, Young Yashala. Yep. Let me get this first, and then we'll get that in Sirach 30. What do Yahushua say? And I say, it seemed like a light thing, to keep, children from their father, to be at war, the parents be at war, his baby daddy, baby mama culture, that destroy the development, all right, of children, okay, especially the sons, all right. It said, this is John 5:19. Then answer Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also does the Son likewise, like Father, like Son. Okay? Verse 20, for the Father loveth the Son and showeth, and showeth him all things, all right, that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. Yahushua was raised by his father. Oh man. You see, that's a heavy concept that you can't just take away out the family structure, man. And we see the results of it. Like we see the results of removing it out the family structure, man. Okay? And this is a lesson for us all, man. Okay, we're gonna cherish family in the kingdom, man. Okay. Because the woman, like I say, the whole Isaiah 4:1, the woman just think of men having a lot of sex because that's all she's been seeing on BET. It's way bigger than that, man. That come with it, They're just a bodily function. But Esau just has reduced everything to just random sex and money. Okay, or just a big ass harlot house, man. So let's go here, Let's get this in thought the brother posted it in. Yeah, brother can post it in Sirach 30 verses 1 and 2. I see verses 3 and 4. I ain't see 1 and 2 up there, brother. Yeah, but if a brother can just post it, Sirach 30 verses 1 and 2. Cause I see 3 and 4 up here. Just want to get those 4. Okay. Get this real quick. This brother Kazak Bun Yahweh. It says, and ye shall know the truth. All right, John 8:32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And we're free from these concepts that was taught to us. All right, within this system, man. Okay, because as men, we thought just having a bunch of random sex with women, okay, being sexually irresponsible. All right, we thought there was a way. We thought there was the peak of all right, of manhood. Okay, off as hell, man. But now we're really learning the purpose of women, the purpose of family. We're learning these things now. Okay. All right, this is the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh. This is Rock 31. It says, he that loveth his son causing him off to feel the ride that he may have joy of him at the end. And the father will be hard on the son, okay? So he will have joy of him at the end. It's not built in the mother to do that. She's a nourisher. She's supposed to be the balance, all right, from, the chastening of the father, okay? He will come to the woman and be restored, okay? And then he will have to deal with the harshness of his father. And the father wasn't just, tyrant, all right, but he was firm, okay? And then a lot of times the father wouldn't have to speak, just the son being around and observing how his father dealt with situations, okay? Because all that will go into the son's subconscious, man, okay? There's a lot of ways, I learned from my grandfathers that they didn't speak, especially my grandfather on my mother's side. He didn't talk a lot, except it was about sports. You talk about sports a lot, but just how he moved, he really didn't, sit down and say why he did it. I was just seeing him doing things, and I would see the results of it, and those things was going in my subconscious, man. Okay. And that's how it is with men pouring into younger men. Okay. Like how I say, I do what I see my father do. Okay. Verse 2, it says, he that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him and shall rejoice of him amongst his acquaintance. Okay. So that father discipline was needed. Okay. And it wasn't just in, in whoopings, and beatings. Okay. But it was discipline. Okay. Get structure. Okay. Purpose, giving the son a purpose, giving them structure, giving, that's part of chastening as well. Making the son go without, man. Making the son, do things on his own. Okay. Rise to the occasion. You see? Verse 3, this is brother Bayan Yasha'Allah. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. Now, who is the enemy? Esau, Edom. Okay? Who's the main enemy? You see? So what Esau did was like, nah, I'm gonna raise your sons. I'm gonna set some niggas up that's gonna raise your sons how I want them. Okay? It said, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice in him. Verse 4, though his father die, yet he is though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. Okay? So there's structure. When the father would pass down to his son was structure, the structure and the discipline of a nation would be in the men, passed down from the fathers to the son, and that discipline and structure will remain through the men. So Esau removed the men, okay, from the equation. He was able to what? Instill, do as thou wilt. Okay, be independent. You see? So we gonna get back to that, man. We're gonna be restored fully. Okay? We're gonna be restored fully to who we supposed to be, man. And this is why we have to understand these things, man, so we can understand the importance of the things that we didn't think was important, like family structure, discipline, okay, order. Okay, order is the family dynamic is extremely important, man. And that's something that we've been taught to take extremely lightly, man. But the Lord is going to establish that, going into the kingdom, so that was the point, Lord will, you brothers, all right, then you sisters will edify. Once again, we'll give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being a great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing and salutations, hopefully, Shalom.